there guys, this is Obsidian Chill, got another video for today, and this is a continuation of our spot mode footage from test server. This is currently round 9, so there was some changes announced on the 29th of July, kind of an update before the weekend, so we'll kind of touch on those changes to try mode because it does have a large impact, and then we'll kind of go over the controversy as well. So as you guys will see from my previous video, or if you watch my live stream, the boss health pools were just like incredibly low for like round 1 through 9. Like I know 1 through 9 is supposed to be easy, but like they should not be taking like, 30 seconds to kill a boss. Like there was one round, I think it was Baron Savage or something like that. I forget exactly which round. I think it was either 1 or 2, but the boss died before I was out of Ice Elemental, and Ice Elemental is a 21-second supercharge. So in less than 21 seconds, we'd killed the boss. And that's just that. Obviously, that's not acceptable. So I said buff the health pools, and I referenced that just like the bosses were dying way too quickly. Like even what more than likely happened was that it's a 6-man SM, but they probably scaled it for four players and just didn't account for the extra 2 DPS and how quickly they would burn. So I said that feedback, and it was changed for the weekend, but and boy did I catch some flack for that. Oh my god. I did not intend for the health to be buffed like 300-400%. So now rounds 1 through 9 feel like you're doing like 11 through 19, and it takes like 10 minutes per round, like 6 minutes, 7 minutes on the easy side for like the bosses that don't do anything, and then even like some of the rounds take like 10-15 minutes. Just like completely like even this round. Like I mean, this is round 9. This is the hardest round 9 we've ever had. So we're going to go over the other changes too before I kind of touch on, because obviously you're going to see some changes here. So they reduced the number of ads that spawn in Darkfather, which is around 4, 14, 24, which is good because those were just like overwhelming. It's just like the duo. So now they're greatly reduced, only like 1 or 2 spawn at a time, and it's really spread out. So it's not an issue. It's easily handled. There was no ads that spawn on Cosmic Boy, which is 5, 15, and 25. Now there's ads. So that definitely changes that fight. We also had the statue ads in 6-dimensional Zoom Man, which is 10, 20, 30. They don't block break, so that's you needed that for the Solar Flare, because if you got block broken while you're blocking for Solar Flare, it's a group wipe. Other than that, the larger ones were the boss round changes, which you see in this video. So Baron Von Savage is the boss for round 1. Catwoman and Kara Ferris are together for boss 2. So rounds 2, 12, and 22 will have 2 bosses. And Catwoman and Kara Ferris was the exact same boss combo from OA. Lex Luthor is now the boss for round 6, which I'm not a fan of. We fought Lex Luthor for season 1, season 2, and FOSS SM. So I mean, Lex Luthor's really played out, and he's really easy. I mean, it's a little bit difficult for the tank. You have to roll dodge the solar flares. And other than that, it's just a group avoiding the Bunker Buster. But I mean, at that point, you just get the gray range of the Bunker Buster, and it does it on itself or cancels it. So it's really absolutely no issue for the group. Possessed Beast Boy is now the boss for round 8. So Beast Boy, once again, he goes through the form changes. And now round 9, which you're watching, is Vice and Krona. So most of you probably won't even know who Krona is. Well, maybe obviously from the comic books, but not from DC, because he's only in the O Alert and OSM. He was the final boss for OA. So Krona presents a whole bunch of difficulties, as you're going to kind of see from this footage here. For one, he does his Arbitrary Blast, which is basically one-shotting players, and that's what the feedback is. So, I mean, it is avoidable. I mean, the damage is pretty quick. But as you can see here with water shields, I mean, this is round 9, of course. That's why the issue is that round 19 and 29 will be pretty much literally impossible with this boss combo. And that's what kind of I want the rest of the topic, the discussion to be about, is that, well, for one, if you want to know what Krona does, he does his 360 beam, which technically you can jump over, but it doesn't always work. You can phase dodge it, and then you can run around it. So a really easy concept. He also has these points where it's referred to as Arbitrary Blast. Now with that one, the point is pretty much a one-shot round 9, which is crazy. Round 9 should not be having one-shots. And the damage happens the frame before the actual attack occurs. So he'll point, like you'll see him point and then die. So there's no animation tell. Like you literally, I paused it and kind of went through frame by frame, and literally you die the frame before the actual animation the damage applies. So all you can do is get out of range or block or phase dodge if you have a good reaction time, and that, or you die. And then it's even crazier is that there's an AoE component to it that delays damage. So as you see right here,
Oh my god.
Robot Sidekick got targeted by Arbitrary Blast. I rolled just get out of a Poseidon pool, and I died because there's delayed invisible damage on the pet or on the players. So we've had runs where, you know, he'll kill a player, and then one player will go for the res, and he'll just die, and then we have 2 people down, and it just, you know, it's just not sustainable. The other issue with Krona here as well, we see these encasement balls. They can drop aggro, which just happened there. And then that's something obviously you can't avoid. You can also point an Arbitrary Blast to inside the encasement and one-shot you. So, which in round 9, it's doable. As you can see here, we didn't have any like massive wipes or deaths. I mean, it's really a clean round. I mean, it's round 9, but at the same time, what the issue is is the boss combination. Krona itself is a survival mode end boss, just like Granny Goodness, Trigon, Doomsday. So to combine him with another boss in a small room like this, like when you think of Oa rooms was huge. You had tons of room to kite the boss. You didn't have to worry about overlapping mechanics. There was no like Poseidon pool things. You had a giant room to kind of keep bosses separate so that their mechanics didn't overlap. In this room, you don't have that. It's all, I mean, you can get out of range of the beam, but that's about it. If you don't remember what Vice does, the reason why I wanted Vice is that's some boss because he's unique. Like he doesn't have weapon attacks. He constantly chases you. If he catches you, you're dead. He does this Galling Eruption and this pull-in attack, which is you need a group immunity for. He's just a unique boss. He's just different. And you don't fight Vice. Well, you fight Vice in the duo, but I mean the duo. I mean he's dead within like 10, 20 seconds. So that's why I wanted Vice in here. But Vice in Krona just doesn't work. And the reason why is that we have to continually evade Krona for his beam, his points, which will one-shot in the later rounds. The encasement balls, and then the issue with Vice, you don't feel it in round 9, which is why you don't see a lot of feedback from players on it. The issue is that in 19 and 29, that pull is going to one-shot, just like it did in the original OSMs. You had basically Vice in the middle of the room in OA, and then the group entirely spread it around, DPSing Vice, because the tank could just kind of kite in a circle, like a tight circle. And then you had multiple tanks still for pickup players and to also provide group immunity. Because if you get pulled in or sucked in, that's a one-shot. Then you go try to res it, and then Krona could encase you, could do his beam. I mean, there's just so many times where you could have multiple players down to mechanics, and then you can't recover, and it's just a wipe. Not to mention how large the health pools would be in 19 and 29. So it's a situation where the feedback-wise, like 99% of the game of players nowadays have no idea about these boss combinations. They're kind of doing it as they go throughout content. There's very limited players that have tanked these and remember what they do and their combinations. So it's the whole feedback process with SM, which is why like everyone's like, oh, when's the SM coming? It should come out next week. No, this needs to be fine-tuned because we have like multiple new bosses, which is good because it needs to be refreshed. I mean, we can't just have the same old bosses every single season. It just gets worn out. The whole point of this was to be unique, and I think we definitely have that approach with like the Poseidon pool mechanics. There's some stupid volatile ads that spawn after 11, which I can kind of touch on in a future video, because my a group we were in completed 11 through 18 with the buffed health pools. So that took us, I think, like 3 hours or so, something like that, 3-4 hours to go from 11 to 19, or to 11 to 19. And even we're going to try 19, so we'll see with the help, because I don't think there's no hotfix before this, as I'm doing this recording, to where we'll be tempting the round 19. So the feedback is all touch and go, and the one thing annoys me in the forums is that you run into like all these casual players on the forums that they're basing their feedback off what other people say or what they see in videos or what they immediately kind of test. You can't compare feedback from 1 to 9 when you have to take into account how it's going to actually perform in the higher rounds. Like 1 through, if you're doing round 9, you just saw it here. It took like 10 minutes, with very little deaths. I mean, it's not a huge deal. You think, oh, it's going to be fine. But then you don't realize what the damage increase is going to be like on 19 and 29, and then it's going to come out, and then there's going to be all these complaints. People are going to say, oh, the testers suck. That's because they're basing their feedback off the content they can complete, the rounds they can complete. They're not basing it off what the possibility is going to be when you have to think that As you get up in SM, go through rounds like 11 through 20 and 21 through 30, is that the increase in damage, the increase in the health pools, and how that's going to play a factor. So that's what we have to work out in terms of this feedback, and that's what primarily the feedback is missing on the forums, because you post feedback where I know how it's going to play out, and some other players know how it will play out, and then you get all these like people, like all these crybabies, and all these people that have no business whatsoever providing SM feedback, trying to basically dilute the experience for everyone else. So that's kind of the hurdle that we're kind of getting over now. We're going to play this out and see what kind of feedback we can provide with all the changes coming. So take care, guys. We'll see you in the next video.